going to be dealing with agents. Now the thing is, buying directly from the seller and buying through an agent, the process is like completely different. There's a lot of educational materials out there, and I think they gloss over this. Because how many people completely understand how an agent gets paid? Less than you would think. So I'm going to tell you very quickly. Let's constantly check time. All right. Bank lists the property with a broker. List means that the broker is just putting it in this giant database. This database is called the MLS, Multiple Listings Service or System. Never remember. All these properties are in the MLS, and the agent goes out and also, puts out the for sale signs, puts it on the internet. This broker is trying to sell this property, puts, all that stuff. There's two scenarios that how these REOs or any house gets sold through an agent. Basically, scenario A is you're out there beating the bushes, you see a property you're interested in, and you call the sign. You're calling the broker directly. You're basically calling the seller's representative directly. Call them up, you say, hey, we like that house. The broker says, this is an incredible deal, you're going to love it. Sign here, make your offer. If the bank likes it, they'll either reject it, accept it, or they'll counter you. They accept your offer, you got yourself a deal, you pay for it. The broker gets paid the entire commission. It comes from the seller. Nothing comes out of the buyer's pocket, it comes from the seller. Typically it's 6%. With banks, it's actually a little bit less, but let's just say 6%. Okay? Scenario B is the buyer gets an agent to help them. Now, the buyer says, I'm looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in this certain area. So the buyer hops on the MLS and this massive database and says, give me everything that's this size, between this and this, in this area. It pulls up all the houses. Then the agent will go and take the buyer, and the agent will take the buyer and go look at them. Okay? So now the difference is the agent will send the offer to the broker. The bank will accept it, counter it, or reject it. And once they accept it, the deal is done. Now the difference is they split that 6%. So the broker gets 3% and your agent gets 3%. So now they're splitting it. Very important to know that. Because when you go, you're going to have to make a decision. If you decide to go out there and do what we're doing and go make money flipping REOs, you've got to make the decision. Are you going to use an agent or are you going to go alone and call the broker? There's pros and cons to each. The pros to using a broker are that if you call the broker directly, that's your the number one benefit is that there's your golden opportunity to make a relationship with the broker. And that's what Cindy's the best at. And you're calling the broker, you're not just asking about that property. Do you have any other deals? The broker controls that inventory. Now, the disadvantage is that they are swamped. I mean, they're cream. So they're not, and they're grumpy, and they're in a hurry. They're not going to sit down with you and talk about what's a good deal and your wants and needs over coffee. It's not going to happen. And the other disadvantage is they're going to show you their own houses. Now, if you decide to get an agent, the advantage is that you can, you've got access to the MLS through your agent. You can look at comps. You've got a partner that you can really work, see what's out there, and work through. And the agent knows how to write the offer. Can you write your own offer? No, you can't, unless you're an agent. So to make an offer on a property, either the broker representing the bank is going to write it for you, or your agent is going to write it for you. But you have to be licensed to write that offer. So, I think the conclusion we finally came to is that if you're just starting out, get an agent. But not just any agent. You need an agent that will not squeamish about making low offers. A lot of agents out there, they're afraid to write a low offer because they're not going to like them, or they'll never take that. So we recommend that you go with an agent starting out, right? So, yeah.
What about buying that directly through the banks, agent or broker? Isn't there the advantage also sometimes it doesn't pay the seller's commission?
Yeah, that's a great point. That's another good benefit. So that you can hear it on audio. The question was, and that's a very good point. Another advantage of going to the broker is that they're getting both commissions. So don't you think there's a greater chance that they're going to take your offer? Yeah, we've tested it. We've got someone in our office that is not licensed, and we'll make an offer on the same property where we write the offer, because I'm licensed, so we'll get the commission, and then our partner, Michael, will call the broker and say, hey, will you double end it? The honest brokers will take the highest offer. But some brokers, our offer all of a sudden is not in contention, and now Michael's is because they're getting twice the commission. So now you know how it works. You know, which way you go is really just based on your knowledge, you know, how fast you want to get started. We recommend that if this is something you want to do, you don't wait. Do both at the same time. Call brokers. Craigslist is a great way to find agents. And invested-minded agent, right? Okay. I'm going to skip this part. The bottom line here is how banks determine value once they get the property. What I'm going to just tell you real quick. Imagine if I walked up to you and I said, here's 3,000 properties across the whole United States, like if someone just sneezed on a map. I need you to come up with value on all of them, like by next week. It's impossible. So basically what the banks do is they get these free agents to go out there and give them an estimate. You think they're usually accurate? No. So unfortunately they're usually too high. But the point on that, yeah, sometimes the ones that are too low, you've got to be there. And that, you know, and that's what I think we'll get into in just a moment. So the thing here is banks are not rational. And you've got to keep that in mind. When you start hunting for deals, you got to look for stuff that's very close to already being a deal. And I think this is where I might turn it over to you. Okay, look for hidden patterns. Why don't I sit down and you talk about how you're getting. We got a deal this morning that came in. Yes, there's multiple offers out there. But share some of your secrets, how you're getting, and I'm just going to take a seat here because they answers it. Well, here.
Okay, so basically what I do is, well, what about the MLS? How many of the people in this room have MLS access? If you're an agent, you do. If you are not an agent, then there's public MLS that you can get on. Does anybody know the sites that are public?
You go to justinurban.com.
Realtor.com.
Realtor.com or whatever, and you can start doing your search there. But just as Kurtis recommended, it's a good idea to have an agent on your team who's maybe not always the listing agent of the property that you're looking at, because this agent can help you run your searches. You kind of form an alliance with this agent and let them know what you're doing, and they can help you find the properties that you're looking for. So whether you're an agent or whether you're working with one, the idea is that every single morning, and I actually, this is what we do full time, I'm on the MLS 2-3 times a day, because as properties come out and they're listed, in most cases you're going to be successful if you're first out there, or if there's another strategy that I use all the time that works too. I'll talk about that in a minute. So first what you're doing is you're determining your area that you're going to work, and we work in an area that's between $100,000 and $200,000 price range. I know up here the prices are a little higher, so maybe you're between $200,000 and $300,000. So what you want to do is find a neighborhood or an area that you can start to learn your values in. Don't try to work all of Central California, because it's not realistic that you're going to be able to know your values right when you see the deal come on the MLS. You won't know if it's a deal or not without doing lots and lots of homework. So kind of bring in a tight territory, maybe a few different neighborhoods that you really understand, where first-time home buyers are buying, blue collar, no real ghetto stuff. I don't know really the area here. You didn't have ghetto area.
Think about your end buyer.
I live there.
Yeah.
Think about your end buyer. Remember, you're flipping it to investors. They want bread and butter, stuff that they can rent out, 3-2 and medium neighborhoods.
Yeah, if you were going to invest in a house long term, where would that be? You know, you may not have the money to do that yet. Maybe you need to flip REOs for a while or do something else to accumulate your cash so you can. But where would you be investing Usually it's